Hello, this is Patrick from Subtract Sugar. Today we're talking about king cake. What it is, where it came from, what you could do to make your Fat Tuesday less fat. King cake started out as a Roman tradition where they hid a bean in there and then people found it, and it was a Roman pagan tradition that was adopted by the Christian societies over time. And by the 14th century in France, there was this tradition of the hiding the bean in there and a swirl cake, and it was the 12th night tradition started, where it was the 12th night of Christmas, the night of the Epiphany, the Three Kings, and the tradition of the king cake started there. So in the 14th century, they'd have this pastry dish with an almond filling that they have once a year. Over time, it was brought to the U.S. in the 1800s, and particularly Louisiana. And in Louisiana, you had this tradition where it was a round. It wasn't a circle. It was a wreath type design, not just a solid circle. And they added more sugar to it as sugar prices declined from 1870 on. So they started adding more sugar into the cake itself. They started adding more sugar on top of it in icing, which later on became colored icing in the colors of green, gold, and purple. So brightly colored king cake as we know it. And then you had fillings, which also had sugar in it. So you've gone from a rare, one time of year pastry with a sweet type of filling inside of it to a sugar bomb that has sugar on top of it in the cake itself, and then in filling that's inside of it. So you can tell it's not good for you. One serving will have more sugar than you're supposed to have in a day. One small serving, that's 1/10 of a cake, will have as much sugar as most people should have in a day. And if you have a bigger piece or two pieces, then it's way more sugar you should have in a day. The other thing now, you went from having one time a year to the Mardi Gras season. So with that, you got, depending on the Mardi Gras season is 1 month or 2 months, you likely have 15 to 30 opportunities or more to have sugar cake if you live in the New Orleans, Louisiana region, which is a lot. You think about that's your baseline. You're exceeding with one treat every time, and it's everywhere you go. It's omnipresent. It's in schools, like giving kids a sugar bomb every day, and it's in the offices. I worked there in Louisiana. You'd have king cake every Friday, and then the winner, the king, got to buy the next Friday's king cake. So you'd have king cake in the workplace, so it'd sit around and there'd be some more left, or people would bring in multiple during the week. And so king cake everywhere all the time during the Mardi Gras season. So let's talk about strategies to reduce your king cake consumption so you're not so fat on Fat Tuesday. And that would be to either abstain completely. When I was there, I just said I don't eat cake, and that was fine. People say, "You want king cake?" No thanks, I don't eat cake. And they're like, okay. Another strategy is to say, I only eat king cake on 12th night, or I only eat king cake on Mardi Gras day. And then you kind of say, well, king cake is very special. I don't think we should have it every time, every day, all the place. I only eat on these 2 days, or this one day, 12th night or Mardi Gras day, pick one. Or completely say I don't eat cake and just move on from there. So that strategy, that type of assumptive close, you close off discussion. This is when you have king cake. This is your tradition. You're not going to have it 20 times a year or 30 times a year because you know it's bad for you. And you probably should definitely not have it in the schools. And you should probably try to avoid having it in the workplace too. Again, this is Patrick Ferrand, Subtract Sugar. Keep your king cake consumption down. Good luck out there.